Story Species Story Medicine, Extra Strength. Ready to take your medicine with Gina Casella?
Species of medicine, open for the task. Extra strength is everything you'd ever ask. Many with the soil, many with the sea. Earth is a medicine for you and for me. Scrubbing out the tarnish, building up the trust. Honest little tales, rising from the rust. Truth is in the living, truth is in the skin. Open up the portal, let the healing in. Extra strength, extra soul. Medicine to make us whole. Feel the rhythm, feel the pace. In every single space. Are you ready for the cure? Keep it steady, keep it pure. Extra strength.
Hey, Dragon Dreamers, Gina Casella here, and thank you so much for joining me today on Story Species Story Medicine. Today I have with me first-time guest ever, Christy Campbell. Such a pleasure to have her on my show. I've got ample questions lined up for Christy. We'll see what direction the conversation goes in. I'll make sure to highlight her website. She's got all kinds of books lined up. I know a lot of you are familiar with who Christy is, but for those of you who are not, I would like to take the time to read over her biography. If you have any questions, plug them in the chat. We will get to them. And you know what's really cool? Christy's going on a vacation in a few days. So it's really special that we get to have this time with her before she takes off. So who is Christy? Christy Campbell, also known as CC33, is an author, artist, intuitive empath. She's also a mother and registered Karuna Reiki master. Through her books, artwork, and creative projects, she explores consciousness, spiritual growth, personal transformation, symbolic art, and science fiction inspired by storytelling. Christy's work blends original artwork with themes such as light, codes, star seeds, multidimensional exploration, psychic development, ancient wisdom, native ancestry, cosmic symbolism, and the power of self-discovery. Each book Christy creates is created to encourage readers to explore new ideas, think deeply, and develop their own understanding of the world around them. And I really love that part right there. Those of you who know me as a public educator, that was something I always strived for, was people to do their own thinking, their own critical thinking based on their own conclusions while considering the perspective of others. And that's something that really resonated with me when I was doing my little homework on Christy. So whether you're interested in spiritual awakening, consciousness, creativity, symbolism, imagination, Christy invites you to explore her growing collection. So you can find her on Amazon. I've also got her link there in the chat. There's so much to say about Christy. She also identifies as a secret space super soldier, somebody who survived. She's got all kinds of ET stories. If you needed to talk to somebody about this kind of stuff, I really recommend Christy. At some point, I will show you her website, but let's bring Christy to the stage. Here we are. Hi, Christy. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you so much. That was a great introduction, and I love the intro video. I'll have to get with you to see how I can do that too. And that was so pretty, using your own voice and all the butterflies and the horses. I just love that. I want to do something like that too.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Well, I got to give the credit to Starseed Laura Ferguson, because she created that for me. So, yeah, talk to her. It was really special for that to come together. Yeah. So I've got tons of questions for you. We'll see what direction we go into. I don't know how much time Christy has, but we'll try and aim for an hour, 2 hours, somewhere in there. Yeah. I know you're planning for a vacation. So what's the 3-3 in CC33? I was curious about that.
So, you know, in numerology, the A, B, C, D, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 with the numbers. It matches up.
Yeah.
So C is 3. So my
Right.
initials, Christy Campbell, so I put 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
Okay.
because there's other Christy Campbells on YouTube and Amazon and all that, so I just in my artwork too. So I, you know, I don't want to put my whole signature on that artwork, so I just come up with CC33, and it could be CLC. My full initials is, and that would be 333 because L is also a 3. So yeah, but I didn't want to just do all that because it's too much to write. You know, CC33 is more catchy like that. So yeah, so
That
that's
is
where it comes
cool.
from.
Yeah. I'm trying to work with the GVC, the Gina Virginia Casella, and you're right. There's tons of Christy Campbell's on Facebook. I had to
There
like
is.
do a number of them this morning trying to tag you on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube too. There's even a man named Christy Campbell, and I
Is
was like, whoa, that's yeah. I know. I was like, wow, there's so many on YouTube. Yeah, so that's why I put that too. Yeah,
um
there's Maria in the chat. So thank you guys for
yeah.
being with us. And if
Trying
you
to
have any
click on the name.
questions,
There
then
we
just
go.
yeah, just put it in the chat for us too. We'll be happy to answer questions too.
Okay. Before we dive into like secret space programs and
Oh,
that, let's just talk about you, the real person. So last year we met in
mhm.
Florida, had a short and sweet time together, went to the beach, hung out. What's a typical beach day kind of hangout day for you? What would that look like?
Well, since I'm going to Massachusetts next week, me and Kelly, we're gonna be going to Cape Cod, and they have all kinds of beaches. There's this my favorite one I put on my screensaver here. It's like a silver metallic. The rocks are there in Cape Cod. Um, it looks like another like planet. I always think it's kind of like Atlantis is what it reminds me of, something right there with that ocean too. So it's like the rocks and everything right there. I'm just looking at the picture too. So in the other places there's like Stone Beach where there's like all kinds of quartz and just different all kinds of different rocks that I mean, I just love rocks and crystals. So it's like in heaven, you know. Yeah, so that's what we do a lot of the time is looking for rocks and crystals and cool things like that from nature. And then she has a little dog that we walk around too. So walk around in the woods, you know, there in Massachusetts. So such a pretty state. Yeah, just love it there.
That's really nice, just
Mhm.
good old fashioned hanging out,
Yeah,
appreciating nature. Me too. I love the beach, just walking and resonating with all the
and China's
seashells.
saying hi. Here's my
Hi,
cat, China.
China. Hi, honey, honey.
She's wanting to say hi. I named her
Um,
China because she was looking up at me and she had Chinese eyes, you know, and I said, "Is your name China?" And then she got so happy after that. So I figured that that was her saying that, yeah, that's her name. That's what she wanted to be called. So, yep, that's what I named her.
I love that. So, like I said, I've got tons of questions for you, but it was
Mhm.
helpful just to kind of learn a little bit about your personal life before we go into any deep dives or
Oh
anything,
yeah.
because you're a real person too. And for what it's worth, I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of people forget that when they have conversations with people like you. They just kind of want to focus on the
The secret
stories,
space.
like the climax. And it's like, well, there's so many other themes. Because just like any pie, this is just one slice of you, and there's so much more
Oh
to
yeah.
you. You have a twin sister, you
Mhm.
have a son. Do they experience any interesting dreams? What about your other family members?
Well, my dad, he definitely does. It's where probably that comes from with my spirituality because he's the Native American side. He because I live here with my mom and dad. Um, I think that probably we're both taken around at the same time too, because we'll wake up and both kind of have the same mood. Or even like today, we was both kind of clearing our throat or trying to like doing something like that. And that's not normal. So maybe something happened with both of us, because he was doing the same thing this morning, which is odd. And then we'll both be, he hears and sees stuff outside too. We live out in the country. He's seen like the Sasquatch before in his mind. He has all kinds of dream stuff. He remembers like a 20 and back when he said he had remembered being in Vietnam, and it was like a 20 and back because he was there, and then he got blown up, and then came, like it was a dream, he said, and then woke up the next day and came back to work, and his coworker remembered him in the dream too, the experience. So, and but he didn't know what that was or how to explain it at the time, because really, it's really not talked about with their generation, with the baby boomer generation. They don't really talk about anything paranormal or out of this world or alien. So, oh, Rob's in the chat. So, hey, Rob, see you tonight too. I'll be on Typical Skeptic.
Yeah, there's a few people here in the chat there for you. I'm having a hard time catching up with the comments in there, but we do see you.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Rob. And so do you feel like, so you, your dad, and your sister, you're all kind of connected in this way. Is your mom kind of like the oddball, or is she just sort of like accepting and as situations unfold throughout your childhood and now in your adult days?
Yeah, she doesn't, she's a Scorpio, so she kind of doesn't like to, there's a lot before Scorpio kind of accept stuff. They don't just, if you just tell them something, then they like, oh, okay, but then it takes them a while to process. So my dad has always talked to her about his dreams and things that, it's mostly been dreams and stuff, but she doesn't, she just listens. And so with me though, I can explain it a little bit more, and now it kind of makes more sense to him, and so he kind of has opened up more with that. And then also she understands because I kind of explain it in a different way. So now there's two of us, and now she is like, wow, it is happening, or something's happening, because they're talking about it, and I don't have, she didn't remember her dreams, but that she's the German side, um, so I know that she has experiences, or has had, but she just chooses not to remember those things. So, and that's okay too. She just kind of listens to us, and so it's not any judgment or anything either. But my sister, she probably has experiences too, but she just doesn't talk about them as much because she's married, and has a child too. She's almost 21, the same age as my son too. So, but yeah, so it's just mostly I just talk to my parents about it. Yeah.
That's really powerful and interesting. Growing up, did you tell people at school about your experiences, or did you stay quiet until your adult years?
Yeah. And
Tell us about
in school, I didn't get my memories back until after my awakening happened in 2013. So all before that, I was just a quiet person, like a sensitive, empathic person growing up, and I just liked a lot of alone time too. Um, I really didn't do good at school because it was a lot to feel. I mean, everybody's energy and stuff, and I just couldn't wait till I got home to be by myself and play Barbies and just be in my room, listen to music. And I just liked a lot of alone time to kind of, it's just felt more comfortable when I was at home. And so, yeah, I didn't remember having any kind of experience, no alien stuff. It was all wiped from me. And yeah,
What
so
about
I
like
didn't,
spiritual experiences when you were a child? Any of that stuff, or just it was like complete blank, nothing until
no.
boom, all of a sudden?
hmm I couldn't think of anything. I was searching for where it would have happened. And there's things that that kind of I questioned and everything, but I just didn't really put it all together, you know, with my dad would, because we would go to church, they would make us go to church and stuff, and but nothing with that. And so really nothing, everything was just kind of blanked out with that spiritual stuff, you know. There wasn't
Yeah. I mean, the
it
mind's
wasn't
number one
talked about.
job is to protect you. And even if that means creating false inhibiting beliefs that keep you stagnant and lying to yourself. And so I really
Yeah.
respect and appreciate your comment about your mother, because at some point, not to quote you or whatever, but you were saying like choosing to remember, like
Yeah.
it might just be too much for somebody to take it all in at once. And
Yeah.
even though like somebody like your mother, for example, she might have to in her own world figure things out before she, you know, wants to share. She just wants to figure it out on her own first.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
so growing up, your dad's side was indigenous. Did you attend any kind of indigenous traditional ceremonies, or were you like public education? uh, like what was the traditions growing up?
Well, his grandma was who was is on the Cherokee side, and she lived uh, like in Muskogee, which is probably a couple hours away. So we didn't ever go. We were in Oklahoma City, so it was further away, you know, because they worked and stuff. So we didn't really get to go see her, and she passed away when I was 2 years old. So I didn't know her really, and she met us and stuff, but I don't remember her. And so it kind of um there was only like things that people said passed down, you know, from her, things that she did, because my dad said that he had burned his hands, or and so she was doing like hands-on healing for him. So she had that ability with hands-on healing, and then she made like herbal stuff too, so she was kind of like that. So the cat's trying to jump up here. um so yeah, so
China
she
wants to be
I
interviewed.
know.
We'll have China on the show. I can see it now.
Mhm.
We'll have this picture, but with China on here.
She's she is just like her name should have been Rascal or something like that, because she just loves to play around and not afraid of any of the cats either. So yeah.
So, like I said, I
Mhm.
got tons of questions for you. I just glanced
I'm
at
gonna let
my
her out.
list.
I'm gonna let her
Um,
out so she can leave me
okay.
alone in here. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, my
Yeah.
mama put her out.
So I'm wondering, like, um, if what would you say to somebody out there listening right now? Because my audience ranges. There's a huge gap in my audience. There's like people like you who this is very everyday, familiar, whatever. Then there's a huge gap. And then there's people who are scared.
Oh.
They're freaked out. They don't have community. And that's what my show is all about, is creating safer spaces to share this kind of stuff. Because when you hear somebody like Christy talk, she's not talking about some movie she watched. She's talking about her real life, real
Yeah.
experiences, and things from other dimensions, which sounds a lot of fantasy, but really this is the ancient future. It's something that's always been around. So
Yeah.
if somebody for some random reason thought for a second that they were abducted by an ET or had some kind of interesting past life, like what would you say to them? What words of wisdom do you have?
Um, like when people come to my sessions and stuff, they ask if they have had any, or if I see any experiences that they've had, because they don't remember. So what I try to do is just break it down from childhood, like if they remember anything going on in childhood, any shadow figures. So it's just kind of breaking it down, and some people don't remember any of it. So it's kind of then looking at stuff that they resonate with, if they're drawn to some things, you know, like such as the star seed or the SSP stuff or something, because something is waking them up, you know, to this. So there's some reason that they had chosen to not remember, and now it's starting to wake up, just how my experience was too, you know. Um so the thing is sometimes we just need um you know, a session or somebody who can kind of help us remember just pieces of it, or if they have dreams and stuff too. So it's kind of different for each person, but pretty much where a lot of people are waking up now and they are seeing things in their dreams or having memories or drawn to this SSP stuff. So they have questions about that. So it's probably just talking with someone who is experienced, already talking about it, and kind of can help you with maybe some guidance that's not pushy or saying it's just this way, so going with what you resonate with. And it's not just one person, it's a variety of people too that you kind of gather your information from, and watching a few videos and then thinking, oh, that really doesn't resonate, so you just go on until you resonate with someone, and then you outgrow them. So it's a whole bunch of stuff when you're awakening. Yeah.
That was a great answer because,
Mhm.
it's not enough just to say, oh, yeah, give me a call. We'll talk. So
No.
I appreciate you taking that extra time. There's a lot of people who watch my show that they're not comfortable even saying hi in the chat because they're not sure, like, if their employer might see them, and then that's going to cause problems or something like that. So this might be a good time to bring up your website, just to go over at glance. Christy offers all kinds of services. So when you're booking with Christy, you might not even know what the heck to book. So
Yeah.
you can just email her and tell her that, but the prices are pretty much the same, $75 here. So just, it's okay to say, Christy, I don't know if it's my lab or alien abduction. You'll figure it out with her, right? And
Yeah.
even some of these pictures can be triggering. This lion one I just love because I'm Leo lion, right?
Yeah.
The other picture you
Irma.
sent me was it wouldn't fit right, and then I saw this and it worked. So
Yeah.
even like this Montauk chair, there's so much talk about it. And something that you do that's cool too is you do like some kind of scan, and then you put together a picture and this whole profile about people.
Right.
That's a little bit more money, but you get a lot of bang for your buck here. And
Yeah.
there's an example that you provide with Drago Reed. So if anybody out there's listening and you desire this, make sure you book with Christy. And she does conveniently at the end here somewhere let you know her summer vacation. So you can beat the crowd and start claiming now before there's a wait list. And then, of course, ample books. Like, I met Christy last year, and I don't even think you had one book published.
I know.
And then now you have like, what, 100 now? Like,
there's 41.
Tell us about that. How did it
there's
start?
41.
And tell us everything.
Yeah, so like I had that Luna one that I had made before the conference. It just had come out. So after I found a group home for my son because he's autistic, level 3. So he's 21, so I just call it college, and then so I have free time to do my own stuff as well, because I didn't have time to write books and do all that because I cared for him 24/7. So I was looking for that Luna book. But so I wrote Luna to help with here it is. I wrote this one to begin with because this is a little girl, and it can be a boy or girl, when you're in childhood and they're sensitive. So this was an example of how I was in school. And then it's given affirmations and help for standing in your power, setting boundaries, and it's okay to be me, and just being yourself, and being out in nature. And so it gives affirmations like that. So that's why I wrote this one, is to start with the helping the kids, since a lot of the kids and adults, they're real sensitive. So, and I'm a sensitive, empathic person. So yeah, I kind of wrote it just to help. I write all this because I feel like this is what I needed growing up, or needed to read, or some affirmations and stuff like that too.
That tends to be how it works. Like your most ideal clients, or the people that you're going to help the most, are the people who are 500 steps behind you. That's what makes you the best teacher, because you know exactly what they need, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that book, Luna, and I really, really liked it because I just liked the nice, soft artwork that it has.
Yeah.
And also because I have a passion for teaching little ones. It was
Right.
public school, so we had to like tiptoe around spiritualism, but that's definitely a book that I would just conveniently put on the bookshelf so parents like don't complain or anything and children can find it.
Yeah.
Do you find that's a bit of a struggle actually? Because like me being a public school teacher, I might have to go back to the real world and do that. I'm not sure. But like I feel like your books need to be part of the public education lens, because when I was a teacher, I was heavily involved with the union, and we were always advocating for inclusion, always highlighting Indigenous content in particular, because it's so lacking, right? And social justice issues, LGBTQ2 plus spirited. But it's like, what about people like Christy? What about the psychic? We don't talk about that at all. And when it comes to students who are living with autism, you nailed it. Hypersensitive. Even students who are not autistic, just people who are empathetic. Here in Ontario, in kindergarten, they've got 30 kids in one kindergarten classroom. I'm in strong opposition to that. Like, how would little 5-year-old Christy function in a classroom like that, right?
Yeah.
And me
You
too.
just
I
stay
was very
quiet.
disconnected. Yeah,
I
you
just
just
stay
stay
quiet.
quiet.
I don't do anything, and I hated to be called upon too to stand up and talk in front of the whole class. It gave me so much anxiety. I could like almost a panic attack to have to even do that. So that's really I don't even think teachers should do that to kids. They shouldn't make them stand up and talk unless they really want to, you know. So a lot of stuff, if it's a small group, then those kids, they will thrive more too, but they like the public education, they don't have enough teachers to even do that, you know. And even like in the special needs classes, my son was in public school with the special needs, and there was like there was two pairs and then a teacher, and then the whole class was like probably 20 special needs kids. And you know, there's no way that they can help because my son required one-on-one, you know.
It's
So
not public education, right?
mm-mm,
Yeah. I know. Oh, that's like a
yeah,
whole separate conversation, right? But clearly we could easily slip into timelessness about public education. But
yeah,
that's the power of this story medicine, because maybe somebody out there listening is like, yeah, actually, that's something. I'm getting goosebumps. Somebody out there listening is going to start getting proactive. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Hi, Anchor Haven. I see you there in the chat.
Hey,
Question from Maria. Christy, do you have a book for children with curiosity for these kinds of conversations?
like with the alien stuff, I do have like the with Jacob and his alien friends. I wrote that as well. So this is like um this is about a boy, and then he sees his alien friends outside. They come into his window and they take him up on like they call him out. They come to his window in his room, and they're his friends, you know. So and then he goes on their ship, and they've known him since he was little. They've been taking him and playing with them and doing like that sacred geometry and healing work, showing him how to do those things. So that's one. This is one book that I've written on that it's okay. Like they're all positive with the alien. I don't
I
make
really like
any of
how the
them negative.
pictures are on the left side and then the text is on the right side, because that
Mhm.
makes it nice, like a nice reading pattern. So
Yeah.
is it discussed in there permission or parental consent? Like, what about like when children are having scary dreams? Halloween, the movies come out. Even right now, there's like Halloween stuff at the store.
Yeah.
This here, like, do you ever get annoyed about that? Like, just because it's Halloween, all of a sudden people are more into it, or
Um, I don't. I
like, how would
whatever
you
kind
talk about scary ETs to kids, I guess is what I'm after.
of just kind of curiosity of what their dream was, how they felt. It's just you just kind of ask questions and let them tell you, you know, let them kind of tell you what their experience is, and then probably um just offer maybe like more protection for them or comfort, making them feel safe so they're not alone. So that would be the thing, because whether it's real or not, then I think that they want to feel protected and understood or heard, not alone. So that's what I would suggest doing for the kids. Yeah, definitely with that.
Everything you say resonates with me,
Mm-hmm.
especially with children, because, for children, everything is a big deal.
Yeah.
So when they come to you with something that is a huge deal and you just brush it off,
Yes.
well, what's going to happen when they grow
Yeah.
up? They're not going to talk to you,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
You've
Because
got
I didn't
another
have
book.
that. I didn't have
No,
that. I
you
didn't had
didn't.
it, like it wasn't talked about. If I had a dream or anything like that, it wasn't even well, I didn't even tell about it because there wasn't any place to even talk about that stuff. So yeah, it was just go play outside, or that's just, whatever. It was brushed off for sure growing up.
Does Jacob in the book have the ability to contact the ETs at any time, or is it like the ETs come to him and that's the routine?
Yeah, he also writes in his journal, and I think they just appear. So he thinks about them, and then they appear. So that's how they're contacted, because he's thinking about them. So he's writing in his journal there, and then they appear. So it's a telepathic communication, and then so yeah, that's how. So it's like that's how usually anything is, where you are speaking with someone telepathically, and then they appear. Yeah.
I
So.
think it's a
Yeah.
cute picture. Reminds me of, I call them the dog monkey folk. They don't understand like social cues, so they'll like stand outside your window and watch you. They don't understand that that's freaky.
Yeah, that's scary. Like the
So I
people,
like in this picture, it's like
yeah,
welcoming.
like
You
people
have
don't.
another book about families. A number of years ago, I don't know, maybe like 7 years ago, I was watching Gaia and I heard about Randy Kramer. And he was sharing his super soldier experience. And basically, he has ET hybrid
Yeah.
children. And you have a book about that. Tell us
Mm-hmm.
about that. Because
Yeah.
again,
So
we
yeah.
need books about
Yes.
like gay families going to the apple farm. We also need books
Oh
about
yeah.
these kind of families going to the apple farm too, right?
Yeah, it's just writing about your own experiences and what you feel comfortable with sharing in that way, So like I know that I'll be writing some books on autism too, but this is kind of autism stuff in a way, because they're sensitive and seeing things. So this is one. This is Jacob. I mean, this is the human alien hybrid program, where she is taken, and then they have mixed genetics, so they have a hybrid child together, the gray. And then this is an aspect, I would say, an aspect of me. I just make it to be an aspect of me, so it's relatable, because it's my own story in a way, but I make it to where anybody can read about it, and it can be theirs as well. It can be male or female too, it doesn't have to be just a female, where she's going on to the craft. He comes in, gets her, and then she goes, and then they agree to share their DNA, and they create a hybrid child together. And then so she's taken up on the ship to visit the hybrid child, and then she's also up there and playing with the other hybrid children. So it's like acceptable. It's like no big deal, no big deal to do this. Not negative or anything. So
It's
yeah.
very natural, very normal,
Yeah.
and
She hugs
ultimately
them.
love.
Yeah.
Exactly, love.
Yeah. Just accepting everybody for how they are, doesn't matter what they look like, you know. It's kind of like the way that the person is. It's I'm not afraid of any of the ET beings. And people say, do you think that grays are all negative? But it's not that way, because not all of a race is all negative. It's if you just look at things from a neutral perspective, and then just kind of see how the frequency is, or how they how you resonate with them, or how they make you feel, then you just kind of go, okay, well, they, I don't resonate with them, so I just won't talk with them, so, with
How do
friends
you
and
not
stuff too.
talk to them? What do you do when that comes up? Like,
Yeah. Like friends and stuff in this physical world, when you don't resonate with someone, then you just, you just really don't have them in your friend circle, because you don't resonate with with what they talk about or their interests and stuff like that. So,
at some
yeah.
point, I was going to ask you about protection. Sometimes we all feel like we could use a little bit of protection.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. All
when
the
do
time.
you feel like you need protection?
Yeah.
And is like all the time, little things, big things, is just part of your life, part of your
Right.
self-regulation? Tell us about that.
All the time. Like when I first wake up in the morning, then I'm burning contracts that I made in my dream time that I was unaware of, just and I just do that just automatically too. And then I ask Source to shield and protect me and cleanse and purify my auric field all the time. After the interviews, after you get out, come from the store, um, all the time. Yeah, throughout the day, you do it.
Wow, that's really
Mhm.
good to do, and it's probably a healthy habit because it defaults you to be self-reflective. How am I feeling? Constantly checking in with yourself,
Yep. Yep.
environment to
Always.
environment. We got
Definitely.
a question from Maria. It's about
Yep.
satanic rituals, and I know Christy, even on her website, highlights this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, this one is specific to the Halloween season. Do you know if satanic rituals are performed for mind control purposes in medieval castles around Halloween time?
Yeah, they have those are isn't that the most satanic ritual, with the elite and all of that, their Halloween is like the Day of the Dead and all of that too. Not the Day of the Dead, but the veil, how it's the day before and all that. So it's on their calendar. And there's Leo. He's
Like
watching.
the satanic abuse schedule is on the calendar? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they have that with like the elite have calendar days that they use, like if it's Easter, or they have certain holidays that they use for rituals, or bringing in energy, and then it's always a sacrifice. Yeah, always.
It's always a bit disturbing to, talk about these kind of things. Um, but in essence, yeah, there's a calendar, and certain
Yep.
times of year people are getting sacrificed, and there's an expectation, just like at Christmas, Easter, you have a turkey or something like that, that these kinds of things are going on. And
Yeah.
you're saying that, yeah, around Halloween time, it is increased, and Halloween is like a designated day from long ago where this kind of stuff
Mhm.
sadly happens. And you know what's
Yeah.
interesting too? Aside from secret space programs, um, ritual abuse and the more blood, the better. In ancient history, we were quite dramatic. And I feel too, we were quite vulnerable and we did stuff out of desperation and we were manipulated. And it just opens up a can of worms for me. But okay, so I got tons of questions for you.
Mhm.
So when you're connecting with spirit or your higher self or secret space program folk that might know you, do your spidey senses just kind of tingle and you have an awareness? Do you hear voices in your head? Uh, do you just like feel like you need to go on Facebook and then boom, there's the person you need to speak to? Tell us about that. Um,
Like with the reading, or with what kind of
I guess, like
um
in general, like when do you know your psychic abilities are like if you're shopping at the grocery store, um, do your spidey senses just go off and you hear a voice in your head and you receive a random message? Or does it
mm,
happen just when you're meditating? Uh, how does spirit
it's
communicate with you? Sorry to sound so
Um,
scattered.
no, I'm a seer. And then it's like with the Reiki and stuff, that just enhanced my ability for seeing. So I can do a Reiki scan, but I can see um things in your auric field over it- like if it is like with this secret space, it won't say like secret space, but it shows me images. So it communicates with me in images is how I see things. But I don't leave it open at the store, or Even on Facebook, I don't open up myself until it's like time for a session. Or if I already know the person and they're, drawing things or doing the light language stuff, and then they ask me a question, then I kind of give my input on that too, but I don't open up all the way, so just during sessions is when I open up.
Do you ever get information overloaded? Like it's just too much information coming in?
It's not ever overloaded. No, it's a lot of information, but it's all shown to me and it all unfolds like a whole story. So it just it's never too much. It's like how I see it is like, how we watch the crime shows, how they give an investigation to the story and stuff. So it's like a mystery, unsolving a mystery or something in that way. So I just love doing that and hearing and seeing, because I find a lot of stuff too, tuning into their own experiences when we're doing a session, and even the energy Reiki scan too, because I can find so much information, because I'll have 4 to 5 days just to be searching, and I'm constantly like scanning or just talking to your higher self and asking higher self to help me find information that you need to know at the time, or to help with the healing, or whatever it is. And like with Anchor Haven, she had one of the energy Reiki scans too, and her altar came up, and her little altar, this like Kit Kat, and she's at Montauk, and I was at Montauk. And so it was like we were both the same age talking to each other there. And she came up whenever it was like when I was going to sleep and at night, like I was going to sleep laying there. And then I'm guided to send the Reiki at the time too. So when I'm doing the energy Reiki scan, then I'll wake up sometimes and my hands pulsing. So, and then I'm thinking of that person too. And I just know that that's time to send the Reiki, and then I'll do that. And then sometimes that's when I'll get visuals of stuff, or their higher self, or just all kinds of things, different things come up. And then I'll gather pictures too that match with what they're showing me with the if it's SSP stuff, or anything at all with them that they have asked me to look for, then that's what I'll do during the session. So it's all kinds of information that I get from those energy Reiki scans. It's so much stuff. It's like pictures and pages of information that I find for you, and it is it kind of is overwhelming. You can ask Anchor Haven there, because she is like, oh my gosh, this is going to take so long to go through all of this information that you found for me, but it's very helpful, because it's going over layers of other lifetimes and ritual stuff, or it all kind of helps with the healing process and completing yourself more, maybe pieces of yourself that you've been looking for too. So it's all kinds of stuff. It's not.
Julia is a huge fan. Lots of comments from Julia in the chat, definitely
Thank you.
promoting
Thank
Christy.
you so much.
I don't know if you were with us, Julia, but we did take the time to highlight Christy's webpage. So it was only $75, and then I think it was $175 for the scan.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it with Christy yet, but I can see myself getting obsessed and wanting to know like everything, like
Yeah. And it's
this
not
is something
really
that no
anything
one
that
can
you
really
can't
teach
have.
you.
Right.
You have to like teach yourself and trust and build it. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And I find more as I do more sessions too, then I'm finding that a lot of people are ready to connect with, maybe have been disconnected, or are kind of trying to get their connection back to source. So it's like we entered this matrix, and then all these false realities on top of us. So it's like we're kind of coming out of that healing, moving all of these layers of trauma and this illusion of things. And so then we're able to connect back to source and get our connection back, and then we can see our true being. And it's like a massive light force, and that's what they're stealing and hijacking us for in this matrix, you know. So that's what powers them, and probably powers this whole matrix is our light force, you know, so in our connection to source.
Are
So
you
yeah,
talking
that's
about energy vampires?
anything at all that steals your energy. It could be through the rituals, through coming even here to this lifetime, going into the dark to expose it. It could be anything at all that steals your energy, that you give your power away, you know. So yeah.
Wow, because I think about my shamanic training, and everybody's like, I'm not half as psychic as Christy, but it would be really cool. Because when I do the shamanic training, we do the illumination, we clear the affinities. Myself personally, I can't see it, but it would be
Oh,
really cool to see it. Somebody like yourself could see like the colors probably swirling in little cone shapes and rods and whatnot that you would understand. And I think that's really, really
yeah.
cool.
And
Um,
that is kind of, their sessions are kind of like a shamanic journey, because I'll journey in a way to look and see where, um, like last night I did a session, and she's still being targeted, and then so we are trying to find how to make it stop, because it's continuous, it's not stopping. And so I've had other sessions with her before, so and it's been since childhood though that this has been going on with her. So it's not anything that can just be um one time session and then it's done, you know. So it comes in layers of stuff, and then you clear that out, and then some things come more comes in, you know, more layers open up like that. So it's like in layers of stuff. So I had seen that she was a 15-year-old girl, and then I asked her if she, so like at 15 was something going on, because I see you as like this is an altar that's attacking you, so it's like you attacking yourself at 15 years old. And so I asked her if she was like dressed in like a goth or kind of, you know, rebellious and stuff, and she confirmed that that's how she was at 15. So that it kind of confirms it. So what I see, I'll tell them, and then they can confirm it, or you know, usually it's just confirmation, and then we can figure out what we need to do with that 15-year-old self. And so I sit with it, and I kind of was just asking or waiting for the 15-year-old, because she was just sitting there. This is an altar in her mind that come up, and so yeah, she was just sitting there, and she had been terribly abused this her whole life, you know. And so she was rebellious, she wasn't listening. And then I was like, well, what would be something that would make you happy? And then I thought of freedom, because she's been controlled by church and her parents, and abused and stuff and all that. And then so when I said like freedom, and showing her being able to go to the movies, she was showing me like she never got to go to the movies and eat popcorn. So then I thought, okay, so why don't you celebrate you by taking you and then this altar of you to the movies and eating popcorn, and celebrating her and letting her have freedom, like once a week or something like that, to do something like that. And then so she was happy, and because she was attacking her all the time, because she's just bored. um so then she felt happier, like it felt like it smoothed out, like it integrated, that altar integrated. And then I seen her at 3, and then she was in the closet at 3 and hiding from her dad, because he abused her, terrible abuse. And so it's a little bit, you know, you just have to kind of sit with the 3-year-old, because she wasn't coming out of the closet. She was in the back behind the clothes hiding, because her dad, and I said, did your dad spank you with his belt all the time? And was it like your brother and mother too? Like, and she's confirmed it, you know. Um, and then so I just waited for the little girl to tell me kind of what she wanted, and she wasn't talking or anything. And I said, okay, so let's look at different way then. So then I looked at her dad, and he was taking pictures of her and stuff when she was 3, and sending it to other people and stuff like that. You can imagine. And so then I said, okay, so let's just freeze them. We're just gonna freeze your dad, your mother, and your brother in that 3-year-old, from that vision there when you were 3, and send them to source. Just get rid of them, send them to source, so they're out of that picture, and now it's just you at 3. And then she came out of the closet and looked, and looking for them, waiting on them to to be there, and she saw that they wasn't there anymore, so she got out of the closet. And then she was so happy. She was getting ready. She got dressed. She was so mature for a 3-year-old. She could pour her own cereal and milk. She was just showing me all the stuff. It was like Home Alone, when the everybody leaves and then he's by himself. So she was so happy, and then getting ready, brushing her hair, and she didn't ever get to eat ice cream and sweets and stuff. So I was like, did you want to go get some ice cream or go to the movies and eat popcorn? And then she was happy. She was getting ready to go with the 15-year-old and her, to the movies. So I integrated 2 of her alters in that one session last night. So yeah,
That's
so
an
stuff like that
incredible
happens.
story.
Yeah,
Incredible. And even with the altar, the
yeah,
the communication and the patience with a child and
right.
developmentally like a 3-year-old,
Mhm.
very, very different. Wow. Reminds
Yeah.
me of my training, rapid transformational therapy, hypnotherapy, where we regress people. I personally don't get visions like you do, and I rely on the client. Sometimes my knowing will chime in, and then we merge them and we do dialogue. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you do hypnotherapy too, or this is just
Mm-mm.
all like, no way?
No,
Wow, it's
it's
really
just vision.
powerful.
Yeah, I just see it all. I'm looking over this way, that this is the where I don't look. When I look at you, then it's like I come back to present, but then I'm looking over here, and then the whole reality is opening up for me. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm kind of.
duality is a theme that is so in my face. Like, not looking is looking, looking is not looking. So that's you
Hmm.
right now. Not looking is looking.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
So,
and I can just
what
see it
about
in my
moon
mind.
cycles? Do you work with moon cycles or natural cycles?
Um, I don't really, I haven't ever, no, that hasn't come into my awareness with that. Mm-mm.
You're
With the
like
moon.
day in, day out, protecting yourself, self-regulated, working with this.
Hmm.
Do you make like flora or holy water, something like that? A flora? Do you have a routine where you burn incense and light candles? What do your spirit tools look like?
I do use sage, and I cleanse myself with sage in my room and my home and stuff like that too. And I do thank my ancestors for walking with me, and my guides and everything too for being with me. So when I'm doing this sage, that's what I'll do with the feather, like just smudging myself like that. It's usually before and after sessions, or in the morning if I've had um you know wake up kind of feeling drugged or something like that too. Then I'll burn up contracts first, and um, any contracts that was made in with my with if I signed something, I didn't know what I was signing, and so I'm burning up all contracts that were made in astral. And so
I
that's what
love
you really want
that.
to do. You just really
I
want to
love
burn
it.
contracts.
Burn them, rip
Yeah.
them, stomp on them.
And
The Akashic records are not a permanent record. Like, I
yeah.
get really passionate about that. So that
Hmm.
came from you. So thanks for saying that.
Yeah, and I just send it to source. I gather up all the ashes from it, like it's like a contract, and I just visualize that, and then burning it up, and then I just gather up all the ashes and send it to source. So it's like, let source deal with whatever needs to be done, and then after it's been processed and everything, then it's going to be returned to me for its in wholeness, things that were me that need to be returned back to me after they've been healed.
Contracts was on one of my many questions that I had for you. Contracts, the life between lives. So we kind of touched on it. So yeah, you can change your life. It's not set in stone. Don't let anybody convince you in ET whatever. We're vulnerable. We can easily be manipulated. But I mean, the smallest person really can make a difference. The ball really is in your court.
You don't need any contracts.
No.
We don't. No contract.
What does Julia mean, Anchor Haven? Christy is, did you mean Hecate?
Yeah,
Hecate?
the Greek
Tell
goddess.
us about that.
Yeah, in the Project Ibis, then this is where I've always kind of connected or felt connected mostly to her because she's a dark goddess, but she also is protector of children. And then she has the dogs, you know how she has the 2 dogs or just 1 dog. So in the Project Ibis, though, then I have in my abilities, because I'm Cherokee Wolf Clan, so it's like an innate wolf spirit animal, but also being inside of me, I've seen, like when I'm jogging, that this wolf aspect of me jumps out and just kind of runs in front of me or protector. So, and it looks like this. It looks like the black wolf here. So in the Project Ibis, though, this is with Michael Aquino, and one of the it's not SSP, it's just a kind of like a My Lab or something in that way. You know, it's underground, and it's where they're taking the children that have connections to the Egyptian gods and goddesses. So I'm not sure if mine is something connected with Anubis along the line. I don't know if Hecate is anything connected there or not, but I just go with what I see, you know, with there. And so George Bush Sr. is my handler, owner there too at that Project Ibis. He would come in there, and he's also a wolf. He could shapeshift, and so he was getting me to try to shapeshift into the wolf. And I just didn't know how. It's like learning how to swim at first when I was first there. And so he kept trying and trying to make me shapeshift into the wolf. So he came over here in part of the room and stuff. And then he got real, like, took up the whole, like, massive size, you know, like probably four stories high as a wolf. And then he was throwing stuff. And then that made me shapeshift, because it was like overpowering or something that scared or something that needed to be triggered. And then I did. And then so he was taking me out in the yard and everything for training on how to be invisible and fighting and stuff. And so he was training this wolf, but it was more of a killer kind of wolf for the program. It was more of a psionic wolf. And also Aleister Crowley was there doing like injections and stuff of George Bush Sr.'s DNA. So that's what kind of made me have those abilities too. But I have my innate wolf, but they brought out they inverted it and, you know, we used their own DNA to enhance it in other ways too. But I asked, like, what is this wolf connected with? And then I heard Hecate, you know. So it's not the Egyptian gods or goddesses, of Greek. So but I just went with it, because I just go with what I see, and I don't try to say, well, everybody else is saying it's this, so in trying to make it fit, you know, you don't do that. You don't try to make it fit with everybody else's stuff. You just say what you see, you know, and that's where
the power is. You have to tell it. That's when you recognize authenticity. There's so many imposters out there. I get it. People want to try and be cool. People are also like making shit up just for views and whatnot. But like, this is like real. This is authentic stuff that we're talking about here, right? And it might make people feel uncomfortable hearing you drop names of, you know, deceased famous people, if you will. But these are the images and the information that's presented to Christy, and she's not the only one having these experiences, you know?
It's him in the film, you know? It's him.
Can you tell me about the hands? Okay, let me rewind. 2 questions, and then Julia had a question here too, but just with the wolf, when you shape-shifted, were you a wolf hybrid or were you a full wolf?
A full wolf.
Do you remember? Okay. And then the picture behind you, the hands really interest me because I've seen my own visions, but also AI created. The hands are very interesting to me because for me, and I know there's different kind of hybrids out there, but I kind of feel like it's like part wolf, part cat, part maybe squirrel or chipmunk, and maybe part raccoon mixed in there. And I never hear about raccoon, squirrel, chipmunk. I don't know why, but I think it's because they kind of have thumbs. I don't know. Does chipmunk, squirrel, cats, does that mean it? Do you think that maybe they're part of this hybrid? I just feel like there's something in the hands and the shape that I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
With this, I don't know. With him, he seems just like a pure wolf, and then he has his claws and everything too. So it's like a werewolf hands, you know, and his feet too. So he walks on his kind of tippy toes, and I even do that as well. And my son even has that, but it's like a sensory thing. So, but it's also for running fast, and so he can run like 1 mile around. It's like 4 leaps, and then that's a mile for him, you know. So it's not. But then the raps and stuff, that's just because he's showing he's a warrior, you know, and he has a thing here, but it's like a warrior, like tribal. That's tribal stuff. Yeah.
I was going to ask about the tattoo on your hand too, because when I was looking at the wolf hand in the background, I was like noticing, do you have a tattoo here on the top of your hand? Or maybe it was a shadow that I saw? Yeah. What is that? Tell us about that.
That's my light language. I write on my arms here too and stuff. Anytime I'm doing sessions and interviews and going out, like if there's like the like I had it all the time at the conferences and stuff too. So anytime
at the conference you had like literally like marker on your arms, and you have a strong finger. When we were hanging out at the sand, I thought Christy had like a rock and was like doing her like it was the index finger, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was writing with this part of my thumb. Whatever, like my joint of my thumb, I found myself writing like that in the sand. I don't know what I wrote, but I was inspired. I'm like, I'm getting in on this. I didn't know what I was doing.
I always am writing the light language, and so I was infusing the beach there with the light codes and everything too. So you know, I always am writing light language, light codes, and it's just frequencies.
You must have all kinds of markers at home, and different like sparkly and stuff. And I remember when I first heard about you, like before Florida, you were posting cue cards about writing, and you were showing pictures, and I was like, you need to date those or whatever. And now you're publishing books. I was going to ask, do you feel like maybe upon reflection, all of this time you've been creating an oracle deck, multiple oracle decks? Because that's the vibe that I've always gotten with your images.
I know it's trying to find like because most of them are just the symbols, you know, in that way, and people want to know what does that mean in English, you know, but it's their frequency codes, so it's not. If you know, not everybody speaks English, but it's a universal language. So even if you speak French or Japanese or anything like that, then you can feel the frequencies in the code. So it's not going to have an English translation, you know, the frequency codes. And these are frequencies.
telepathy, like telefrancais, telepathy. Somebody was trying to explain that to me. Is that like what you're saying? It's just, it's a language everybody knows, but you don't know that you know it until you're activated. Like,
Yeah, it's your soul codes. So these are codes that you have with like your all your whole connection to your higher self, oversoul to source, your whole soul stream. So you're going to have all of these aspects of you that know all of these languages and symbols and tones and frequencies and everything that you can tune into. You can tune it because they're all you. So these are all codes from my soul stream, for assistance in that time, whatever it is, so.
and do those move? Like when you're drawing it, is it kind of like, do you feel like you're drawing a picture that's moving around and this is like, are those 3D and we're seeing the 2D version or um
Yeah, when I plug them into the AI, to make like my drawings and stuff, when I plug them in to make them more of a 3D, then they shift into something instead of just a drawing, how look like a wolf drawing, then it turns into something real, so you can actually see it. And so the codes come in layers too, so they do move around, like inner move, like in that way, how they would move, and with the frequency flowing and stuff too. So yeah, they do move, and they do come alive with artwork, with more the AI artwork too.
and so do you spontaneously, like, do you have your markers off to the side and you just
Mhm.
grab whatever, or
Nope.
do you strategically, you're like, I'm looking for green because I
Nope.
need green. You
Oh
just,
no.
whatever color,
Yeah,
that's what's intended.
whatever's right there, I can make it with whatever pen you give me, with whatever pen you give me in that moment, and then just do it, so it's like, so it just comes out with whatever the frequency is too, because like with you, you have a lot of Arcturian frequency with you, like Arcturian is what I'm writing right now, so it's going to be like more faster codes like this. So and that tells me it's like Arcturian when it's fast and it's kind of messy looking, kind of scribbleish like this. So that's Arcturian to me. It comes out very fast. So
Is that a
you would have
reflection of my handwriting, perhaps? Because I have very scribbly handwriting, or is that's a
no, it's your
reflection of my energy
frequency.
code?
Your
Ah.
frequency of us talking right now. Yeah, it's of you talking and asking me, and then that's me tuning in to that and then
So, like
writing
the
it.
next time I talk to you, I might have a Pleiadian
Mhm.
frequency, or okay,
Yeah,
I get
you
you.
have more
I
than
get
just
you.
Arcturian. Like you have
Okay.
Syrian as well. So, I just think of Syrian right now. You have Andromedan.
But what does that
You have
mean even more
Pleiadian.
deeply? Like, are they around
Starseed.
me right now?
No,
Or
this
like,
is in your DNA. This is your starseed DNA lineage. So you have these codes
oh,
within you.
okay. So this, so
Yeah.
like next time I talk to you, this information is still going to be consistent.
Yeah,
The
these are
Arcturian part could change. Okay.
right, right. This is just codes within you that are most relevant at that time. So of course it will change because you have all of these different aspects of you, part of your star seed lineage, where you have aspects in these realities that you can pull from. Their experiences or memories or codes or um, anything like that, of your other aspects, Syrian, Andromedan, Pleiadian, Lyran, because you have all any place that you can think of that are most common. But there's other ones like the Cygnus. So I'm slowly learning more places too, and more about the other star seeds. So I always read more about each one of them, so I
I
can
was going to ask that. How
yeah.
do you know like the names? Like, I guess you just read about it and make sense of
Mhm.
things, or do you hear a
Yeah.
voice and it's like, "Hey, Christy, FYI, Pleiadians, that's what we're called." Like,
Yeah, so I've researched Pleiadian, Syrian, but it's also in your auric field, like it tuning into you now, and then so I'll just see the word Syrian because I'm asking you, show me some of your star seed places that you have aspects of, and so I see the word Sirius, Pleiadian, Andromedan, Syrian, Lyran, Cygnus. So I keep on seeing Cygnus, Cygnus, and Alpha Centauri. I see that, Vega. So these are all places that's coming to mind, tuning into you. So something like this, you could research on YouTube, starseed lineages, or just type in Vega, Vega starseed, and see if you resonate with the Vega starseed. And
I'll definitely
see.
have to look into that, because it's interesting. Like, I almost feel like, it would be really beneficial if somebody like yourself wrote like a dictionary kind of at glance. Maybe you've already done that, but it would be special because it wouldn't just be like a dictionary chat GPT definition of who the Pleiadians are. It'd be who the Pleiadians are from your perspective. Like, you could probably write a chapter just on that, And Julia, I will get to your question. Sorry, I got other questions on the go, but but we've been chatting for almost 2 hours. Like, I mean, definitely have to have you back. But Julia wants to know about the undersea programs, and do you have personal connections with dolphins, or were they folks that were around you? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's that Project Seagate that she's referring to, Project Seagate. So the Seagate is like the military group. It was like a small group, but there's many of these groups that we're finding, all over the place, that is looking for these relics, and they're kind of in hidden realities. So it's like a team that's searching for these lost relics that they're going in, and it's going through different portals to access, and it's really detailed of neat, like remote viewing some place of even where it's located, because so we're in on there's like a base on the bottom of the ocean, and this is in the Gulf of Mexico, is where this one is located. And so the dolphins help us. They also are military trained dolphins too, so they would have it's like a vest or some kind of strap thing to where they are marked or something like that, to show like military training dolphins or so in that area. And then so they work with us, we work with them to communicate. So we would have their DNA as well, so we can communicate with them telepathically and make psionic like sounds and stuff, or something with that too, where they can come and get us, and then they take us to wherever the Stargate is, because we're dropped off in the middle of the ocean in a helicopter like vehicle thing. It's doesn't have like a propeller or nothing like that, so it's more advanced. And we have to call in the dolphins, and then the dolphins take us down where the Stargate is, the location, and we have the DNA to access. It opens up, and then we are going into another reality where it can come out in Egypt, and it's just a different time stream, so it's like we're in the water, and just because it opens up into another realm, the water's not going to fall into that reality, nothing like that. It just stays here, and it's just walking through another dimension. And then so we're in Egypt, and then we have a certain amount of time that we have to get in and out. It'll only hold open, say like 3 minutes or something like that, and then so we already know where we need to go. We've already mapped it out, and we go in and find the relic, and then come back, and then the dolphin's waiting for us, and then we found the relic. So
that's really cool, because you use the remote viewing skills to pre-plan everything. So then once you're live in action, you know exactly where to go, get in, get out. Because if that portal closes, I think you're screwed. You're like, do you have to wait until like planet Earth rotates and an entire year goes by? Or are you just stuck until who knows when? Like, are there answers to that?
Yeah, it would be really that would be pretty scary, because it closes and now you're stuck in that realm. So you're gonna have to figure out maybe how to contact someone who can access that, because you don't have that. It's not the same DNA that will open this up, this way up. You have access to the other end there that opened it, so it's holding it open. But coming in that way, then it's not the same frequency. It's different. It doesn't
So you
match
need
up.
a key to get in and a different key to get out.
Yeah, that's why it's held open. It's held open,
Oh.
and just because it's held open, the water's not coming through like some people visualize. I'm saying that because I guess some people think that, like, if it's in the ocean, then the water's not going to be flooding that place. It just stays kind of like that Stargate movie, how the thing just stays open, and then so it just stays open there, and then but if it closes, then it's like you're here, but the time thing is here. And so I don't even know, you're gonna have it'll be really difficult to find your way back, to here, because the frequency is not the same at all, and so
I laugh
I don't
because it's
know.
awkward. Like, there's nothing funny about this, because you hear stories, myth, legends from long ago where folks went off with, typically men went off with goddesses, and they had abundance and glory. And then when they came back, they couldn't come back. And
Oh.
I feel like it's probably because this exact kind of stuff, whether it was intentional or not, to go there.
Yeah.
I made a little note. When you say Stargate, do you mean a porthole? But the Stargate is basically a man-made porthole, to clarify.
Right. Like the portal you can open up, in the middle of the room or wherever they portal in and out like a doorway. But the Stargate, I feel, is like a bigger mission place. It's like a time. It feels like it's like a larger time stream or something like that. That's what it feels like. I don't know if we could. I know we could hold open that in the portal too. So it is a lot. It is similar, but there is something that is a little bit different with the Stargate. Maybe it's for larger groups or something, but you can hold up in a portal, and so it might be the same. So I'm not sure exactly with that.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate your humility. Do you ever
Yeah.
find yourself getting into Facebook fights with people like, this means this, stop saying that, or like...
No, I don't do that. I don't interact like in that way with them, because you're lowering your frequency, because that's what they're trying to do, is take your frequency. So I don't. And a lot of people are NPCs. They're the non-player characters in our reality, and they just go along with their own day-to-day life, and nothing changes for them. But there's some that are on that their mission is just online, and it's going to be like entering stuff into ours just to try to throw us off or lower our frequency. So if you don't interact with them with that frequency, then they just go on. But as soon as you say, wait, no, that's not true, and get all bent out of shape over nothing really, I mean, you're defending yourself. Just block them, that's just block them. That's all you got to do, and then they're removed, so don't engage with that frequency, because then it almost like they can stop there, and then they like now they're directed toward you, and they can read all your stuff, like information or things like that too, with the NPCs. So I don't interact with them. Yeah.
Good for you. I never used to get into Facebook fights, but I would get into these conversations, and I found they had their heart set on a certain category. And at one point, when I first did my hypnotherapy training, I would regress people and they would go into past lives. I wasn't expecting that. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was hopeful for it, to be honest. But when it started happening, I thought, oh, geez, I better know my stuff. And so I was starting to fall down the rabbit hole with Pleiadian, Arcturian, thisy and thatty. And then I let it all go, because I realized, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. And I really thrive on being the village idiot. And I was shy about that, but now I realize that's my gift, is being the village idiot, because I say stuff that I don't know what I'm talking about, but other people do. So it's okay if I don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. You know, like if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, that kind of sounds like Pleiadian, and they're like, well, I feel like it's more reptilian. Well, hey, all the power to you. Think whatever you want. But in some communities, no, this and that, and you're wrong. And there's like what, you know, there's a lot more than 5 to 7 different ET species and races, right? So
I mean, with people who are just set in their ways, then they're not going to change, you know, how they believe stuff. That's their own beliefs, and we're not here to change anybody's beliefs and make them think anyway. But they shouldn't be doing that to everybody else, but some reason they feel like they need to be the right person. So maybe it's best just to not even interact with them at all, because they're always going to be that way, where they, if you notice that they always are kind of in different comments, you'll see that that's how they comment to everybody. It's not just you. So you can choose to interact with them if you want to, but it's all a choice of what you want to have as your own experience in participating with them or not. Because, I mean, it's your choice. And to fight and argue with them, you're just kind of lowering your frequency fighting. You know, it doesn't even matter. You know, if I want to say the sky is purple and you want to say the sky is pink, you know, then that's your own perspective and how you perceive your reality of what you think and feel and believe. So that's your own truth. So that should be, I it should be okay with that. You know, if you want to believe that, then okay, you know, but I see it as this way. And then you should say, okay, well, we see it differently, but we can still talk and be friends though, you know. So it should be something like that, because we all are different. We all have different experiences. So there's not one way of looking at something. There's many ways, many experiences, many realities that we've all experienced and learned and grown from. And we can help each other too by just being kind of open and patient and respectful too. And also having boundaries for yourself. Keep your boundaries up, and don't let people cross your boundaries. You know, set your boundaries of what you're willing to accept. You know, okay, you've gone too far, you know, like that's too far, you know, of
you're talking, I'm like, yes. Like, I mean, if I end up back in the classroom as a public school teacher, I definitely want to have you as a guest speaker. You know, like these days you can do that, right? You can have a online Zoom guest speaker. We just have to tiptoe around things so people don't complain about me and whatnot. But this business of believing in yourself, standing up for yourself, having healthy boundaries, this content applies to every single aspect out there, you know. So this is very powerful, and people don't hear it enough. Like, it's cool to talk about feelings today, and a lot of people don't know how, because the generation predating ours, like your father's, my parents, like it's the door was even closed that much more for them, you know. There was no internet, and people did get beat up, and they still are. Speaking of altars and assets, my understanding is an asset is like if somebody experimented on me, and basically I became their property, that would be an asset. Just like if I bought a car, that's an asset. It belongs to me. So huge ethical issues and assets, you know. And then an altar is like a different part of me. Like a different aspect of me.
Like in your mind, all these altars are created through sexual trauma or extreme trauma, where a young child can't deal with it, so they leave they leave their body, or their mind just blanks out, you know. And so within that, then a new altar will come forward that's ready to be programmed for the job, or whatever it's going to be. If it's assassin work or agent or remote viewer, whatever it is going to be for, then that's how they create the altars.
When you say a new altar, do you mean like it's something within me that spontaneously arises when I need it to? Or is it one of those situations where I think it's called a walk-in, where like a different spirit would come into my body? So it's still the biological one known as Gina, but I would be like different now. Like, is that what you mean?
So this is how I describe altars in your mind. So the circle in the middle is you as the front altar, and then all of these others around, they're all going to be altars that are created in your mind. Each one of them is a different room, and they all have a lock passcode, to get into the room. Only a handler has the access, or whoever's given the access to that altar. That if it's like a key to that storage closet, then they will have, the access to that storage closet only. And then they would close it back up. So they're the only ones who can access that altar, is a person that has the key or the code to open it up, to bring it forward, and then they have to put it back too. So then after they complete the mission, then they put it back. So then if the person is ever questioned, interrogated, then that front altar, this main person, they won't have any memory of what happened, because it happened in another altar, and it's completely locked away. So many of our altars, they just are probably empty rooms in a way, because only a handler or someone who has access to the altar can pull it forward. Yeah. So this is within your mind. And this is done through sexual trauma before the age of, say, 5 years old. This happens.
Specifically sexual trauma or any kind of trauma?
It's extreme trauma where a child cannot process or comprehend what is going on. So they will leave, it's like they leave their body and float to the ceiling. And now that the vessel is like a blank, like there's nothing going on in the mind now. It's like disassociation, and so it's going to be and sometimes if they don't program it, then there will be altars that come forward, that's going to be like a protective altar, so sometimes people will have that switch too of like later on in in their years and stuff, then they'll have a altar that's like a protection altar, where they're like the tough guy, always taking charge when, say, you're being feeling like outnumbered or scared or something, then that altar will sometimes come forward to take control. Or even child altars when this trauma began, like at age 3 or 5 or so. So you'll find that many people who have had this sexual trauma, then they still have this young child altar that hasn't fully integrated or healed, that they're still there within their mind. And so it's like a fragment of them still. And so they will stay there until they've been integrated or healed or heard or understood. Or it's kind of like you have to address them and comfort them, and show them love and compassion and things that they didn't get at that age, so yeah.
Wow, reminds me of soul retrieval process and imprints. And when you were talking, I was thinking, like, again, the mind's number one job is to protect you, even if it means creating false inhibiting beliefs. And a lot of people who are overweight, they do not have an issue with weight. They feel scared. And so when these blueprints happen, the child mind says, that's it, I'm going to be big because big people can beat other people up and I can have power. That they never meant, I want to be overweight. Like these altars, they mean well, but then it gets confusing because the subconscious mind doesn't even understand time,
Yeah.
right?
A
So
lot of people will be overweight because, they eat for comfort, but, because they didn't maybe get that at that age. So maybe it might be an altar that's influencing that behavior. But also, like the altar with being overweight too, they have this belief that, if they are overweight and unattractive, that they'll be left alone. Like, no one's gonna mess with me if I look like this. If I look like this, then I'll be left alone. But that's not the case. They're still messed with. Yeah, they still get messed with.
breaks my heart when you talk like
Mhm.
that, because it just, my mind floods with images of children that I know throughout the years of my teaching career. That's exactly what they do. They
Yeah.
don't feel safe. They put on the tough act,
Mhm.
or they completely shut down. And it just, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, so
There
maybe
was,
it's like an attachment to there's some sort of a attachment to that altar, and it's like a belief attachment, or even like a maybe even they people have demon attachments because there's so many different things that go on. If they're abused in childhood and stuff, then demons are attached to those altars. So sometimes it's needing to look at that altar. So if these things are still coming up for you, then like the altar that's like the lady that I helped last night, that 15, she had these attachments still. So it's just looking at them and kind of it's just spending some time with them, and you probably need some help because it is hard to find your own authors sometimes for yourself. It is like I know I need help with by others to see some of the stuff for me too, because sometimes we can't see those things for ourselves, but once you can see it, then you can deal with it. So it's like many, it's not so simple. It's needing to address trauma that happened, but also attachments to that people placed on you at that age, or even demons that were done in rituals and stuff that are attached. So it's like needing to go to that altar and then burning those contracts that were made, and then any kind of attachment or seals or implants and stuff at that age, then it's needing to address all of that too. So yeah,
there's a lot to cover with just one
it's
session.
yeah,
Some people get
it is.
frustrated because they think one session is going to fix everything. It's not a reality. Ideally, you want to see somebody
Yeah.
multiple times over consistently. Maybe just a few more questions for you, because I know I don't want to tire you out there for Rob's show later. We'll just keep
Yeah.
talking right up
No,
until
no.
your next show. But
No.
I appreciate you talking about blind spots, because a lot of us have a hard time asking for help. We try and do things
Yeah.
on our own. We don't have eyes behind our head. We all have blind spots. The shaman
Yeah.
needs a shaman. Like even myself, I belong to a collective, and once a month I go. Even if I don't feel like I need it, I still go and I get my chakras cleared and rebalanced, and it's
Yeah,
just
it's good.
part of my routine. Something that I wasn't aware of until I did my shamanic training: entities within entities. Like, geez, just when you think it's over and the
Yeah.
client is different, you're just working on a client, and it's like there's another layer. And you mentioned layers earlier. There's so
Yeah.
many layers.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I still have like a ton of questions for you, but maybe I'll just zone in on the chat questions there. This one here is, it's been on the screen for a while. How do you tell if someone is an NPC?
With the NPCs, then I think that we it's like they just play the game of what is our reality here. Like going to work, um, doing the same stuff over and over, watching the news, and not ever changing. Like if you present this kind of material to them, then they're not going to believe it. They're not going to accept it as truth. They're ones who will kind of just not even want to even listen to this type of information. So they're not wanting to change. They want the same reality to continue on, and they just listen to news programs or things, and just follow the program. They're just like here to follow a program. And then some will be as agents and interacting online, trying to throw people off as well with even just comments of stuff, and they just insert a whole bunch of comments everywhere, and just like fishing to see who takes the bait, so it's something like that. So maybe their job is the starseed community, or say, and then so their job is maybe to lower their frequency or throw them off, or make them maybe even try to stop doing their mission, whatever their mission is, throw them off completely so they feel low, and they stop doing their work, and they don't even feel like helping people no more, because they've lowered their frequency. So some of them are easy to throw off. So and at first maybe it is for all of us, because we have to kind of learn and then get back up and then do it again, and sometimes we fall for it again and then you get back up. But then the process of getting back up, it doesn't take as long, and then you build up your kind of armor, and then you recognize, wait, this person keeps doing this to me over and over, even if it's like someone as a parent or anybody at all, that's saying that's always constantly putting you down, that way too. So it's standing in your power. So then you're not going to put up with their behavior anymore, and they can say as much as they want, but you just aren't going to absorb it anymore. It just bounces right back off, bounces off of you, and you don't absorb it, and you just go on, and then they'll just leave you alone eventually, because you're no fun if you don't play back.
Don't respond to the invitation. That's the thing. Right. That's been coming up in my own like tarot oracle kind of check-in, is don't respond to the invitation, because people are looking for a fight basically, right? So you're talking about conscious evolution, like being more aware of yourself, because it reminds me of the tarot card, the Tower. Like, we need to fall. Nothing is meant to be permanent. We're supposed to be in a state of temporary impermanency, which can be frustrating. But like, knowing you're going to fall, if you can live consciously, then when you fall less hard. You can get back up with more ease. You have healthier boundaries, like we talked about before,
Yeah.
So we got lots of positive comments in the chat. Sprinkle, hi Eric33, I see you there. Julia, Missy's here. Everybody's really been enjoying the show. Lots of comments about having a great show.
Thanks.
And I have been chatting and Christy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I was born on the 16th, which is the number 16 in the Tower card. Cool. That's a cool connection. So the tarot card is number 16, and you were born on the 16th. Coming from
like
Sprinkle
a 7. A 7 in numerology,
Cool. Wow. So I have a final question for you, and you may or may not be able to answer it, but I was wondering, my mission. So my mission is, it's called Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness, still figuring it out. But all I know is that it has to do with me and story medicine and my gemstone readings, hosting conferences, bringing people together. But honestly, I feel like I don't know, like any direction or insight, or because I'm also simultaneously applying for teaching jobs. And so it's frustrating, because if I have to apply for teaching jobs, it takes away, and I actually fell behind on my workload behind the scenes, getting resumes together and whatnot, like creating the thumbnail. I did that this morning. Usually I do that on the Sunday, Monday. It's like really scrambling. What are your thoughts?
I think it's like, because if you, it's also listening or honoring what makes you feel happy inside. So if you are thinking, okay, I feel excited about doing this teaching job now, then it works out, because you're listening, and it's like it's matching with that, like the energy and everything. But if it doesn't match, it's not going to work out. There's always going to be it doesn't fit like this, like that. It's just going to always not work out. But if you're following with your in your heart, the what makes you feel kind of excited or happy, you know, kind of following the positive of what you really want to do, and things kind of just unfold and open up, and always at the right place, or you know, things like that with books, or you know, so it's just constantly doing stuff that makes you feel happy. So with books or conferences or doing sessions, so just always focusing on what makes you feel happy, and that's your path. So if teaching and that doesn't make you feel happy, then don't do that. Don't go that way, because it's not, it takes away from what makes you happy. And it, you know, whatever makes you happy, and it can be anything for any, you know, any person, whatever makes you the most happiest. So it's always checking in with yourself, and kind of moving slowly too, instinctively too, and also going with the flow of stuff, like flowing, letting things flow, and not controlling that this has to be this way only, you know, and I have to do it by this time or else, you know, because that's a lot of restriction, and it's no fun at all. So it's like needing to be free to flow with things, and things work out, you know, things just work out that way. Yep.
Okay, thank you for reinforcing that, because to be honest, like I was all frustrated and whatever. But then this morning when I was like, okay, I'm back on track, you know, I'm
Hmm.
creating my thumbnail here for the show, and it
Hmm.
did explode, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah, it just
attention
came.
universe, you heard Christy reinforce that. Like
Yeah, it's just what, yeah, it is. It's just kind of, it's kind of moving slower pace, you know, because like working a 9 to 5, that's like, it's like a you know, like on, I thought of like a train on a railroad, like going over all doing the same thing and never getting off the track ever. You know, you're just kind of going with where the tracks are and not going anywhere else, you know. So that doesn't work for us at all. You know, that becomes really frustrating and annoying and everything. Just ugh, I don't feel like doing that no more. You know, it's like some cringe, you know, thinking of doing it that way because it's too controlled. So being free to, you know, go outside in nature, have conferences, being able to just go with your own flow of stuff. Then things, we don't have to be rich, you know. We just have to be kind of happy with ourselves and healing ourselves, and it's just about us, really, what makes us the most happiest. And that's going to be, you know, what is healing for our own selves. So that's kind of what we're here to do, is healing all these layers of trauma that we've experienced throughout all these realities, and then maybe helping family or friends where we can. So it's just kind of helping others too in that way, with our own gifts that we just want to share, that we feel passionate about too. Yeah.
this is why story medicine is so important. A lot of people, they're like, stories are medicine. They don't
Mhm.
understand that, like,
Yeah.
this is
True.
the medicine. It's one of the
True.
best prescriptions out there. And I love how
Yeah.
the word script is in the word prescription. Like, it works out that way, you know. Um, so you offer sessions, but do you think you'll offer tutoring and teach people how to do this kind of stuff, or even like maybe offer a random Zoom meeting, how to publish a book, how to navigate those waters?
Yeah, I just kind of go with what I'm excited about at the time though. You know, I have ideas of stuff, and then I don't plan it all out for the whole year, because I don't like to be like in a, like it has to be this way. I like to just go with the flow of things and in the moment, and if that feels exciting at that time, and you know, and then I can change my mind at any time too. I'm not locked in to do it this way. So I kind of just wait for the moment, in that way that kind of feels better for me. So
That's
maybe.
how my conferences are right now. Like I set some precedents. I got a little template that I'm working with, but I'm open to changing it. Every conference has been a little bit different so far. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I don't
Mhm.
know who Sherry Divband is, but tell Sherry Divband to connect with me, and Christy too. Sherry Div Band. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, she
Free thinking
teaches like
teacher.
children and stuff too.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay. I don't know. I'm like so bad with names, but then my memory recall too is just like,
mhm.
which I used to be hard on myself about, but now I get it. It's the more I let go of categories, the more my mind opens.
Oh
Kind of
yeah.
like what you were just saying. I start closing my mind and trying to have too much control.
Oh
I also
yeah.
don't like to admit this, but it's part of story medicine. So 2 years ago, I became homeless. I didn't have to spend a night on the street, but that's what basically my health took a hit. And then I ended up living at my parents' house. So even though I've overcome all this stuff, like I still in the back of my mind scares, responsible decision making, better hand out resumes, but it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to
Yeah,
make
okay.
and women in Indonesia, ages 20 to 30, thank you so much. Women in Indonesia, ages 20 to 30, they watch all my flora videos on my spirit.
Oh,
It's the shittiest videos
wow.
ever. It's like me in the backyard picking
No.
basil, mixing it with vodka. Sometimes I forget to hit pause, unpause. So it's just a really crappy video. But women in Indonesia, ages 20 to 30, they're digging my videos. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
I mean, what if it changes
Somebody's
their
tuning
life,
in.
you know? What if it changes what if you change their whole life? Yeah, look at it that way.
Let's field trip to Indonesia. Okay, so maybe I'll just, with me, it's easy to slip into timelessness. And something I
Mhm.
do is I find myself exhausting my guests. So I just want to
Oh.
be mindful of the time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
been almost 2 hours,
yeah,
but
setting a time. Mhm.
Steve is saying, most spectacular thought seeing y'all is all your kind-hearted dreams fulfilled. Yeah, working, like, I mean, when you were a kid growing up, you never thought you would do something like this. You would have never imagined, and here you are fulfilling dreams that you didn't even know you had, right? Christy
Yeah, and
Campbell
helping others,
33.
and then they help others, so we activate others, just like you just said, the Indonesia, maybe you activate their desire to want to do that too. You're teaching them, so now they can go on and do that too and fulfill what they desire, because they watched your video. So it's just something like that. So when we listen and follow our heart and our inner guidance and everything, then that changes others. They can feel that and then they change too. Yeah,
And
that's true.
I feel children do that and we deny them that. We train
Mm.
children. No, no, no. Don't think what you're thinking. Think what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah,
Fuck you.
that's not.
Uh,
Yeah,
just to answer a question in the chat, I
yeah.
don't tutor, but on my YouTube, there's a playlist called Miss Casella's Classroom. So if anybody needs help with bed math or transforming decimals into percentage, that's there. I might need to watch it as a refresher, but no, I don't offer online tutoring. I like, I was thinking about putting together a little program about dream journaling, but again, it got sidetracked with reality, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, really grateful for you today, Christy, and hanging out with us. We've got lots of positive feedback here in the
Yeah,
chat. It's actually a
that's
bit hard for me to keep up with the chat. There was lots of really
so
great things
good.
coming in. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I
thank you
definitely
all.
have to have you back. Let me
Thank
just
you
show
all
this
for
here.
interacting with us too. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, I think it's just about putting yourself first too, instead of taking care of everybody else, and worrying about what everybody else will kind of think or something in that way, or taking care of, putting them first before us. So it's taking care of your own needs and what you desire first, and then try to it that's a program for us, so it's sometimes hard to get back to us, and it's a constant need to check in with ourselves and um think like, oh, it is okay to sit here outside and not do anything under the tree, just sit here, so we always think we got to be doing something, so it's kind of slowing down and to listen to ourselves and to not have so much outside interaction, interference. It's like interference, so then we never hear our inner guidance because all this outside noise is going on. So it's going to a place where it's quiet so you can start hearing yourself thinking and listening and tuning in and responding back, you know. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, now I'm in the flow of things. So
I love that. And the responding back. I feel like we could talk for like another easy like 10 hours, right? Like we just keep talking about so many things. And just for those of you who are tuning in, Christy has some pretty heavy content too, with some pretty serious themes. And so we can get into that on another day.
Yeah, another
but
time.
don't hesitate to reach out to Christy about that kind of stuff, because she's been through it herself. She's a really great person to connect with it, very open. I showed you her website. Make sure you check it out. If you're looking for somebody to talk to, this is somebody you can talk to. This is your answer today, right here on Story Species, Story Medicine, you know. And I feel really lucky because, like I mentioned earlier, Christy's going on vacation. She's got another show tonight. And then, you know, so check her website, be proactive, get your money sorted out. Even if you're saving like, you know, $5 here, $10 there, put it to the side, get the insight that you seek. You know, follow Christy, get her books. Even though some of the books are targeted for children, those books are very much suitable for adults too.
On Amazon, all my books. There's I have 41 books that I have on Amazon that I've made. So you can look on Amazon for them, and on my website, then I list all my services there, you know. So, and then I have all my YouTube videos too that help.
There's ample content. Even just watching Christy's videos, you know, are really inspiring. So hi, Jason. I just see you there in the chat. Yeah. So, wow. Well, I feel like I got to end it. Otherwise, we will keep talking, which I'm fine with. But I know that you need to get on there. But thank you so much, Christy, for being on Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength. We definitely got a good dose of story medicine today with you. And I really appreciated your openness, just chit-chatting about your everyday life, you know, hanging out at the beach, collecting rocks, that kind of stuff. Really relatable. And I really enjoyed having you as a guest on my show.
Some of the rocks, there's quartz and stuff, you know, different kind of quartz. So really cool stuff that I got last year. So yeah, I have a whole bunch of different. Oh, here's one that's like this, the beach. You can kind of see the metallic color. So the whole beach is like that. There's a whole entire
is there lava mixed in with that?
It's just like quartz and I think I forget the other, but it's just like a metallic. The whole thing, instead of sand, it's like this whole beach is like that. And
did you go there last year? I might have a memory of a random picture of you at a beach and it was just black rocks. Well, I thought it was rocks. It was sand though. Huh.
Yeah. Can you see my screen, how this looks on my screen there? Can you see my computer, my screensaver or not? Oops.
Yeah, you're the bronze beauty in that picture. You're nice and tanned.
Yeah. Did you see? I cut off so I couldn't hear you, but definitely that's the beach, you know. So
yeah, nice. Wow. Well, let me remove you from the stage a final time. Thank you so much, Christy, for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful vacation. Take lots of pictures. Post them on Facebook. Make sure you give Christy some loving, like, subscribe to her YouTube, buy her books, buy my books too, okay, everybody? Yes. Every now and then I have to remind people I buy books too.
Yeah.
But okay, thanks so much, Christy. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. Today you got a really strong dose of Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength. And for what it's worth, how many of you out there listening today, you were thinking things like, wait a minute, I think I know what that girl's talking about. What did she say? I think I'm having dreams like that too. This business of altars. Some of you might even have interesting dreams, or maybe even right here, right now, live in this moment. Get that pen, get that paper, start journaling, write down your thoughts, even if they don't make sense, you know. Look at Christy's artwork, see how it resonates with you. And if you want to book a session with Christy, somewhere in the chat here, I've been flashing it the whole show. She's got all kinds of interesting services. And if she doesn't offer something that you're interested in, well, you just email her and ask her and talk about it. She's really open. And I wouldn't be surprised if Christy was publishing more books by Christmas, a few oracle decks. Just it's very interesting. And if anybody out there would like to be a guest on Story Species, Story Medicine, Extra Strength, please reach out to me. I would absolutely adore to have you on my show. And just in case you're wondering, I did ask Christy to be a dragon presenter at my conference, but it's not going to work out with her schedule. So just before people start emailing me, ask Christy to be a dragon speaker. I already did, but I'll ask her again come December. I'll ask her again come March. And really looking forward to that. All right, Dragon Dreamers, thank you so much for joining me today. Gina Virginia Casella, wishing you all a wonderful day. Sweet dreams. I'm going to dream about all of us having pizza at the beach. Sounds like a fantastic time. All right, take